G'day and welcome to Ryco Workshop Heroes. Now, today I've got a real treat for the rotary enthusiasts. We're heading to Pack Performance. Pack Performance have been around pretty much as long as anyone in the rotary game, and if you like Mazdas, you'll want to check this out. So we're in the Pack Performance workshop. The boys are out having morning tea, so it's nice and quiet in here at the moment. We just spotted George down the back, so we'll go and find him and see what he's up to. Okay, mate.
Hey, how you been, mate?
Yeah, good, good.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Oh, I've just come down to see what you're up to. Obviously, building some more very nice Mazdas. What are you working on right now?
We got a new RX3 we're building for somebody. Basically come in as an old rusty wreck, and
Most of them do, yeah.
yeah, they're getting pretty old now, so there's not a lot of good ones anymore.
Give us a rundown of this car and some of the other stuff you got in the workshop. I mean, obviously you do pretty much everything in house now. So.
Well, this 13B turbo straight in it. You can see we cut the tunnel and firewall to fit a transmission in there with a blanket on it or a shield on it. And then you put the larger transmission in as getting a 13B turbo. One of our like 600 horsepower combinations.
Yep.
This is a cast engine. We do the billet engines as well if they want more than that. But they have a Motec M130 on it, drive-by-wire, traction control,
Yeah, nice.
boost over time, and so many things that Motec has to offer. And you know, a nice set of Wilwood brakes on it. They're coilover adjustable, you know, height adjustable and bump and rebound adjustable. You know, all the guards get cut and stretched so you can get the big wheel, you can turn, full turn, left and right.
And I mean, workshop-wise, like obviously this is all fab back here.
Yeah,
give us a look around
at the back
there.
of the shop, we got fabricators. We've got 4 fabricators. Each fabricator has his own specialty, what he likes doing the most. So they can all do each other's work, but we try and keep the fabrication to the guy who likes doing diff housings and a guy who likes doing exhaust manifolds. And we got Glenn who loves welding aluminium, and then Jason who loves welding aluminium. So there's like a white metal section and a raw steel section in the shop.
Give us a rundown. There's some pretty nice cars in here. So first off the bat, I can see Gadget there, which is a car I know from many years ago, and it doesn't really look that much different now to what it used to. But
Gadget, you know, quite a few years ago, no one really cared too much about driving fast cars on the road. You know, a lot of us old fellas in the sort of early 40s, you know, late 30s, we decided that we just keep them as they were. Like manual hasn't really taken anything off the car. All we've done is put a G-force in it and run it on methanol, and it's the same car it was when it was running 880s, you know, 14 years ago. Now, surprisingly enough, our kids are all about 18 to 20 years old. They want to come with us for drives, they want to drive the cars, they want to race the cars. And now manuals, we're taking the G-force out, we're putting a C4 in it now, put some radials on it, put all its original trim back in from 17, 18 years ago. And the car is still pretty much intact. He never cut nothing out of it, he never destroyed anything. Other than the tunnel itself, it was a removable tunnel. Now, Andy's making a tunnel which will just stay over the top of the C4. You know, put the radiator back in, like the big radiator and big oil cooler back on it, and then off she goes, back out on the street again, cruising around, and then we want to do its business at the racetrack. There we go, you know.
I mean, looking at this just brings back memories, even like the Gas 250 stickers and the Nippy Science stickers. It's like proper old school.
Manual is OG, mate, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going away from OG though, I mean, looking at some of the new stuff you got in the build, show me this.
Well, this KE20 Corolla.
Oh, wow.
So that's got a rotary conversion in it. So that's a billet engine, the big Garrett turbo on it, C4. As well, he's out looking to sort of run somewhere in the low 8s with it. As a reliable package, you really don't have to do much to once it's built properly. They got all the good gear, so James is pretty excited, and this will be also, every car in here is Motec anyway, so this will be drive-by-wire, traction control, wheelie control, like everything on these cars, you know, everything.
Yeah, and I mean, this car here, what's the go with this one?
Well, this here is going to be a radial car also. This is going to be a very special car, this one. We want to run this on radials. We want to try and run solid in the 7s with it. Okay. Very solid. Beautiful car, presented well. You could take some of the quality out and still have a nice car, but the owner of this and with us together, we want the car to be a show car and a very fast one too, you know, very fast.
Give us a look at some of these others, but this here looks quite interesting as well.
Yeah, so basically that's got a GDX 55 on it, you know, billet 3 rotor. He'd been running this car for probably on the good side of 5 years or something. And like I said, it's time clean it up a bit, make it all beautiful again. And if you see inside of you, they race with all of the Recaros in them. They have to be full cars. They race with stereos and they're quiet. They have exhaust gates on them, electronic gates, which bypasses the exhaust system when they get to the racetrack. But they want to drive on the road. This car would leave the racetrack running 780s and drive straight home, and can drive anywhere into town, get a pizza or ice cream or whatever, drive around and then go back home. Whereas a lot of cars claim to be able to do that, but they really don't do that.
And I guess, looking over here, this one's quite the opposite.
Yep. This here is somebody who can't help himself on the road, the owner of this car. As a young kid, there's some people that just have to be in race cars. They can't help themselves on the street. As we get older, we start to calm down, but this is Mario's car, and Mario loves the race car scene, it takes his crew out, the trailer, the family. This is a 3-rotor triple turbo with a turbo 400 in it. It's time for Mario to step up to Pro Turbo, so he's going to be one of the contenders. He'll be running right with me. Should be fun.
Yeah, pretty serious setup. And what sort of horsepower is this going to be making?
They make over 2,000, so depending on the boost levels we want to run at and how hard we want to lean on them. They all got potential to do well and truly over that, but around about 2,000 is where we'll start, and then we'll just start playing with the chassis and getting all the transmission right, all the electronics right, and then sky's the limit,
I like how casually you say 2,000 now as well. It's like back in the day, 500 horsepower was massive, then 1,000, now it's,
Yep.
And I guess looking over here, this is obviously where you're stripping down engines and doing that sort of thing. Rotaries are getting harder and harder to get parts, so this is where you guys have sort of stepped up, started making your own stuff.
This is where we're making all our own bits. So we've made housings, we tested them, and they're ready to go in our cars over the next probably 3 to 5 months.
Okay.
Put them back in again. We had them fail, we had successes. We had one engine with 2 different rotor housings in it, aluminium rotor housings. We had one fail and one work. So then we've scrapped the one that failed, the material, the coating, and now they're good. Believe it or not, the Mazda housing is still pretty good. So there's not a letdown just yet.
I guess the only letdown's the supply of them now. I mean, obviously you guys keep as much as you can, but...
Mazda's still making them, so we're lucky they're still making them, but end plates, we don't buy any more end plates. End plates are all billet now, every one of them. I would have to say about 90% of our cars in here are billet end plates. Yeah, so we've been doing these for quite a while now, so... At first we weren't selling them overseas or to anyone other than the family cars, but a lot of guys are having a lot of trouble with them, and some of the other manufacturers were having a lot of supply problems, and we said, now's the time, I suppose we'll get it done, get it out there. And
well, I mean, show us where all the magic happens in the engine room.
Yeah, so this is one of the aspirated engines. That's a 3-rotor billet. This is a Prufia pour though, so there's no turbo going on this. And this is a perfect example of someone not needing billet, but wants billet. You'd have to admit that looks a lot prettier than an ugly cast engine, which is not attractive at all. So,
and you're finding these days as well, guys in our age group, I had a 13B Bridgeport back in the day, and if I had another rotor, I'd love a ported rotary. Guys are going back to that rather than wanting all the horsepower as well, because I like the history as well.
Like I said, a lot of guys that, with the ported stuff, I know my own kids have been in cars that produce 700-800 horsepower day in, day out, and they go in a ported engine, and they love the ported engine because of the vibes, because of the way it sounds, because of the way it revs. They don't normally see a turbo engine sitting at 10,000 RPM and shift lights flashing in front of you, and it's just a different feel. It's not fast, but it's a completely different feeling. They've just got that F1 sound sort of, it's beautiful, but that basically looks like that, and it sounds like an F1 engine. And being a 3-rotor, they're still pretty affordable, they're not that expensive just yet.
What's this going in?
This is going in an RX3 in New Zealand. Everything's balanced in-house and ported in-house and built in-house and painted in-house, and then you can control the quality, and your stuff's going to be good.
Yeah, well, just even noticing out in the workshop just all the bolts on, everything's new, you don't sort of...
Yeah, you have to.
No, very nice. Well, we'll let you get back to doing that, but we'll keep having a look around out here.
On your Jace, looking good.
There's definitely a lot of RX3s in here, George. What's with these two here?
This car's about 5 years old. Obviously got built properly. The guys over at Queen Street painted this one. We built the whole car. That's got a cast engine in it, just a Cosmo engine in the car. It's got like a 51R turbo on it. It's fully engineered, plumb back air filters, plumb back wastegates, blow-off valves, heater demisters, recirculating catch cans, all the stuff that you really need to have a nice, solid, legal street car. If you don't have this, then you really won't enjoy it,
And I've just noticed it's got got paddle shift as well.
Yeah, we've got a paddle shift on it. It's got a C4.
push button auto.
Yeah, Motec M130 in it as well. Drive-by-wire, traction control.
I like how it's like a blend of the old and the new, like still got the old dash, but then it's got the...
All of that, all of this stuff is just like it was nearly impossible to be able to restore and collect these type of parts. So all of the dashboards now all brand new, they've all been remade. You know, the crash pads are new. All of this lower chins here is all new, you know, and we make bolt-in Recaro seats for them, even rotary doorknobs. Yep, so everything on the car is now on the market to buy for anyone all over the world, you know. You can really buy it all off the shelf and assemble it at home, which gives father and son or mates something to do on weekends. You know, they get to put all of that together and it's enjoyable, you know.
And the cool thing with this as well is like, you know, back in the day, cars like this was something you'd maybe drive on a weekend because they got hot and they were noisy. And now like this, you know, it's fly-by-wire, it's got paddle shift, everything like that. You can
They got dual fuel.
drive it to work every day if you really wanted to, but you know, yeah. Nice. Well, I mean, yeah, what else you got going on over here? This obviously assembly areas.
Here's another crazy one here. That's another one, all been fabbed up. He's getting a 20B in it as well, one of the 7-second packages. So now it's come back, it's all been painted up and...
It's got some very, very blingy Simmons on it.
Yeah, big Simmons on it, 20 inches on it.
Yep. Is that real gold?
No.
No?
Yeah, so, you know, now it's time to start putting all its engine and gearbox in this thing. We just assembled all the windows and moulds and outside and rubbers and stuff like that. So we're pretty much ready for mechanicals, and then it goes into the wiring bay and the boys start the wiring on it and off you go. And then we do normal stuff as well, occasionally. Just a single turbo FD. We've done this a couple of years ago, and it's come in now for a Motec upgrade and some injectors, some dual fuel ethanol. And as you can see, they're all airbox. Blower valves are plumbed back into the airbox as well, and you know, they're nice and quiet so that, again, you can't get in trouble for it.
And I guess, you know, aside from all this, you know, I know you as well for your racing. Like, obviously, you and Rocky have been racing for years. What's your favourite part of the business, as well as driving the cars? Do you get more fun out of that, or like seeing a finished project like this?
I'd rather see a finished project, to be honest. Yeah, I like the messages, I like the thank yous, I like the bottles of scotch and the cases of beer and the guys that appreciate what we do walk around and, you know, thank all the team and stuff like that. But, you know, then you go overseas and racing has a whole different approach to what it is here in Australia. So I would have to say that's probably one of the highlights of my life, racing overseas.
But I mean, getting back to the old school as well, I mean, I hear you've still got the RX2.
We kept all of our old cars except for the Pac-Man car. That's still with one of my good friends though. So, but the Mazda 6s at home ready to be put back together one day, and Rodney's car's back still at home, ready to go put back together, and Rocky's car's at home, ready one day to get put back together. But
well, I mean, now that you mentioned Rocky, and I know he's out the front floating around somewhere,
Yeah,
I'll let you get back to doing this. We'll go see if we can find him and have a look at what's going on in the race shop.
Good
Really
to see you
appreciate it,
again.
mate. This is awesome, and yeah,
Thank you.
It's good to catch up.
Yeah, thanks. Mate. Thank you.
Cheers, man.
All right.